The Ashley Madison website hack has got a lot of people talking. And in that chatter, it got a lot of people casting stones. And it also got a lot of people ducking from those stones which have been cast. And unless you've been living under a rock lately, you've likely heard of the story of how this website, Ashley Madison, got hacked. And the hackers revealed the names, phone numbers, credit card information, and street address of all 37 million people who subscribe to the service who are looking to cheat on their spouse with somebody else. Naturally, a story that juicy has aroused the curiosity of a lot of people and has created a lot of gossipy-like chatter of who may or may not be on that list. Some big-named individuals and prominent people have already been identified on that list, and more are sure to follow in the coming days. And as you can probably imagine, a lot of marriages are getting ready to have the permanency of their vows tested. And I'm convinced that a lot of hurt people are going to be making their way to church to seek counsel and help during this trying time of their life. And as the church, I think we need to get ready to have a lot of difficult conversations. Conversations we might not be prepared to have with a lot of people who are hurt and looking for help. And that conversation is going to be a tough one. And it's going to be more widespread than I think we're willing to admit. For example, did you know that researchers have determined that about 1 in 5 marriages will suffer an affair over the course of the marriage? Adultery is a huge and serious problem in our country and in this world. Researchers also estimate that about 55% of the population personally knows somebody who has had an affair with somebody else. Personally speaking, none of these statistics shock me all that much, although they might you. I think if you were really to think about it, you would probably say that you've known numerous people in your life that admit to having cheated on their spouse. I have also known many single individuals that admit to having had a sexual relationship with somebody they knew was married. And it's with a heavy heart that I even have to admit that I know individuals who are in the church who have had an affairs. Heck, I've even personally known ministers who have stepped out on their wives and had an affair with somebody, some of whom I even went to Bible college with. Adultery is a serious problem that we face in our society. It is not something that can be simply relegated to odd country music songs or Jerry Springer type television shows. Adultery is a serious problem, and I believe one way or another it has impacted every single one of our lives. Yet for all the ramifications adultery has had on our society, unfortunately I believe it is one of those problems that we tend to only talk about behind closed doors or when a prominent public figure gets caught with their pants down. And in the church, the problem of adultery is something that we don't talk about much either. Instead, we prefer to talk about softball-type subjects like pornography and struggling with lust. And don't get me wrong, while the Bible considers things such as lust and pornography a form of adultery, let's get real. There's an actual problem and an actual struggle that a lot of people face in this country every day with actual physical adultery. Remember, 1 in 5 marriages will actually suffer from infidelity throughout the term and life of that marriage. And actual adultery is actually a very common thing that happens in the lives of many people, and I believe websites like Ashley Madison are but tips of a very large and giant iceberg. And don't get me wrong, while I find the hack of the Ashley Madison website and the exposing of all the people on that website to be a highly illegal and highly immoral behavior in and of itself, I personally see the hand of God involved in the hack of the Ashley Madison website. You see, Jesus Christ said that there is nothing hidden that will not be one day exposed. And those things that which will be exposed either in this lifetime or at the judgment seat of Christ as we get ready to step into eternity. And in the exposing of the list of people on the Ashley Madison website, I believe that God in His infinite grace and in His infinite wisdom is using this exposure as an opportunity to shine a lot of love and mercy towards people who are in desperate need of that love and mercy. And it is ultimately better that this be exposed on this side of eternity instead of when we all stand before Christ at judgment. And I'm just here to say today that for those of you who have been exposed, there is grace and there is mercy available for every single one of you. The Bible says that where sin has abounded, grace much more abounds. And that promise of grace abounding even applies for those who have been affected and hurt by a spouse caught in adultery. And for many, those who have been exposed in this reveal of the Ashley Madison website to list members, this event probably seems like the end of the world for you, no matter which side of the coin you're on. But I ultimately believe in my heart of hearts that God sees this as an opportunity for a lot of new beginnings for a lot of people out there. And I ultimately pray that you'll see this too.